So the GTA Trilogy Remasters launched the other day to differing opinions. Some people like how it looks with the new visuals, while others are left disappointed with the games. One thing is for sure though, the launch was a complete disaster on so many levels, and I think we all can agree on that. It was such a disaster that I'm not even going to be discussing general bugs with the game in this video, even though there are a lot of them, and I wouldn't even call it a smooth launch even if everyone was able to play at the right times. The Trilogy Remasters were scheduled for launch at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on November 11th. That was the time the game was supposed to go live worldwide. Why at a strange time in the morning instead of a midnight release like literally every other game out there? Your guess is as good as mine, but whatever. But then comes in fuck up number one. PlayStation, I believe in Australia, somehow accidentally released the game early, so the day before release on November 10th, a bunch of gameplay leaks were coming out. People were live streaming it, which isn't out of the ordinary for a typical game release. There's always usually some early leaked gameplay that comes out. I know there was for RDR2, I remember. But that's usually the case when people get early review copies and stuff. This is different because the game just released early and everyone in a certain area of the world got to play it early instead of just a small group of people who got their hands on a review copy or something. Then somehow the countdown for PlayStation in general got fucked up and everyone on the PS5 and PS4 consoles got to play the game at their local midnight time. So if you're on PS4 or PS5, the game released at midnight, while for the people on PC and Xbox, it was still on schedule for 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And this personally pissed me off as a content creator because everyone else is out here streaming the game on PlayStation while I and many other people on Xbox and PC had to wait another 10 or so hours to finally be able to play it just because someone messed up the countdown. So a few hours passed and apparently PlayStation then removed the game from their store to prevent people from playing it early. But at that point, people were already playing it for like a few hours, so what was the point of it really? I could see if they realized the mistake instantly and then took it off like 10 minutes later, but at the time they did it, the damage was already done. So they removed it from the store and then added it back a few hours later when the actual launch was scheduled. Now, if I was in charge and a mistake like this happened, I would have just released the game worldwide right there and then for everyone instead of the 10 a.m. or whatever bullshit time it was before. Like, I get mistakes happen, not everything is always going to go perfect all the time, but for something like that, the best way to go about it, I feel, is to just roll with it. Then 10 a.m. rolls around and the game officially releases. Whoop-de-doo, everyone can finally play it. Well, people on PlayStation already played it, but you get the point. I played it on Xbox Series X for a few hours and live streamed it, and it was fine. I didn't notice too many issues with it. I had a good time. My friends over on the PC version could not say the same thing though, unfortunately. In fact, even when you're seeing this video, players on the PC who bought the game probably still can't even play it. A couple hours after release, the Rockstar game launcher completely just shat the bed, which meant if you didn't have the trilogy downloaded before the servers went down and you weren't signed in, it would be impossible to play. And the other part about this is that for some strange reason, there was no preload for this game on PC, so you pretty much had to have downloaded the trilogy the moment the game went live, otherwise you probably didn't make it in time. Hell, I even know diehard fans who do have the game downloaded and they still can't play it. I'm just baffled at the thought of like, why is there no preload for a digital game in 2021? Like, there was preload on consoles, I don't understand, man. Every other game I bought on PC this year, COD Vanguard, Battlefield 2042, all had preload, and I preloaded both of those games. I don't get why there's no preload for this release. Were they seriously not confident enough in their own Rockstar launcher to prevent leaks ahead of time? Is that why? I don't know. Rockstar support then tweeted out that they are doing maintenance on the Rockstar service, which sounds really odd. Like, why would you do maintenance 2 hours after a big release you know a bunch of people are excited about? Allegedly, this had something to do with the game getting cracked. I'm not sure if that has any validity to it. That's just something I read and saw on Twitter. But even so, how many games out there are cracked and pirated? And none of them have this fucking day-long outage, which not only affects the trilogies, but it affects every other Rockstar game on that launcher too. I was streaming some GTA Online on Xbox the other day, and I had people that play on PC asking me how I was playing GTA Online, because both GTA and Red Dead Online on the PC were affected by this. The most recent update to this situation is from this tweet by Rockstar support thanking everyone for their patience as they continue to restore the services, still with no ETA on when that's going to happen though. Oh, and they also removed the Trilogy Remasters from the launcher. This is what it looks like now. There's just no games for sale because I already own all of them. And for those asking, those are the OG versions of the trilogies, not the remastered ones. All in all, it was just an extremely botched launch. I don't know how a company this massive can have such a colossal failure of a launch like this. For a single player game, mind you. And, you know, there are two things we can learn from this. Number one, maybe releasing a game exclusively on one launcher is not the best idea, especially a single player game. You should not need to connect to a fucking server to play a single player game. But even so, if this launched on Steam as well as the Rockstar launcher, a lot of criticism could be avoided because a lot of people would have just got it on there instead. But I'm sure they didn't want to take the revenue cut from the Steam sales because Steam does take a cut of the revenue when games are sold there, so they just thought, hey, let's just make it on our own launcher exclusively, and it ended up hurting them in the end. Anyways, that's going to be all for this video. Just kind of wanted to rant about this shitty situation. Rockstar definitely hasn't had the best reputation as of late, which is very worrying for their future in my opinion. Hopefully the servers do come back soon so everyone can play the trilogies that wants to play them. I'm going to be making a few more videos about their masters coming up, so stay tuned for those. And with that being said, thank you guys all for watching, and have a great day.